Hello friends, this is Tom. I'm back in the rabbit hole, and this is another update on the Hobbing machine phase 2. These are just some shots from the previous couple of videos about making the worm and worm gear, and today we're going to start on the housing and the mounting for the turntable, which will get us about 80% of the way through this project and ready for the next bit. Hope you enjoy it. Well, in the previous videos, we made the worm. That's this shaft right here. We made the turntable, modified the turntable, and we made the worm gear, that big bronze worm gear. And today we're going to start on making the housing. So this is going to be fabricated out of 3/4 inch steel plate. We're going to bore a hole in the top cover and work out how to attach these things, but with cap screws, attach the cover to the base. The base is all going to be welded up, so it'll be a plate and 4 sides that get welded, and then a removable top. So we need to bore a hole in the top that's big enough to retain the gear and mount the ring, the retaining ring at the top. Then we're going to bore like a 4-inch hole in the bottom plate that's concentric with that bore, and that's going to mount this threaded hub, and then the center spindle that goes up is going to be the adjustment for the tapered roller bearing. So I need to be able to clamp this down and then set a healthy preload for that tapered roller bearing, which also helps center this whole thing versus that bore. So that bore is going to be our reference bore. Everything else is going to depend on that. And so we're going to make this housing, we're going to make these components and get the turntable mounted. And then the next step is we have to work out this support bearing arrangement for the worm gear, or the worm, and bore some holes in the sides of the housing to support that in the right spot. So that's what we're up to. Flattening. Looks like it might have distorted that pipe just a little bit welding, but we've got the top face cleaned up, the bottom face. This is a 5/thou pass. Looks like it might need another 5/thou to fully clean up, but so that should get us pretty decent flatness and parallelism on the bottom face. things I like about this Narix head is it's got the rough adjustment screw that I've been using on the side that has detents every 120 degrees. So every 120 degrees is 80 thou on the diameter. But it also has this fine adjustment dial. And since I need to take 5 thou off, what I need is to count out 10 divisions on that dial. And that should give me my 7.125 that I'm shooting for. It doesn't have to be a precise dimension, but still, it's nice to hit a number when you can. This is our finished pass. Very light cut. Well, it's going to look something like that. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to reset this piece on the mill, lift it up a little bit, or maybe turn it over, because I need to put the pilot bore in the bottom of the housing. I'll explain how all that works, but there's going to be a pilot stub that comes up the middle here and pilots the tapered roller bearing at the bottom. It's going to set the final location for this. So what I'm going to do is machine all that detail, make the parts, and then set this in place so that adjusting the setting of the tapered roller bearing, this ends up centered exactly where it needs to be, and then I'm going to drill and tap the mounting holes and drill and ream the dowel pin holes that hold it all in place. So everything's going to locate from the bottom plate. I'm going to try to make that pretty close to concentric with the board that I just made. But then this will all get nailed down once I've got that bottom plate machining done. Clear as mud.
Oh, this isn't scary. Not a bit. Nope.
I'll tell you what, the boring and facing head is a really useful thing. I just wanted to touch that surface, just a tiny little 10 thou deep cleanup, just to make sure this face and the bottom face of the unit are parallel. This is actually the pilot diameter for the axle that the turntable is going to spin on, so I want to make sure that's as well located and perpendicular to the bottom face as it can be. This came out pretty good. That's a pretty good fit. Evidently all my mistakes cancel out or something. Well, I just need to put the bolt circle on the flange, and then I can test fit this whole business, and I can attach the mounting ring to the top plate. There we go. It's located. Well, this is mostly put together. The only thing I have to do is I need to rebore the dowel pin holes and make sure I've got this centered the way it needs to be. But basically what I did was I drilled and tapped the bolt pattern, and I clamped, I tightened this bolt circle snug but not tight. And then using these little wrenching features in the top, I backed the axle up until it put a pretty good preload on the tapered roller bearing to kind of center this assembly with the axle of the machine. And then I clamp these things down. And it turns. It's a little bit stiff. I might need to loosen it up just a little bit. I'm not sure that makes that much difference, but and I don't have any grease or oil on the bearing down below, but it feels smooth, very smooth. And the upper bearing is clamped between this ring and the top plate. and immobilized thereby. So the next step is to put the dowel pins in, one on each side, and then it's move on to how we install the worm and its support bearings in the side of the housing. Stay tuned. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. I hope you found it interesting, or at least a little bit entertaining. There'll be a lot more, so please stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe if you're so minded, and be sure to leave a comment or a question in the comment section below. Thanks again.